Hello children, now you are watching the second video of the chapter Introduction to the Emerging Trends. I remember we finished learning language processing, that is NLP. The advantages were discussed in the first video. We also discussed about artificial intelligence. Now it's time to move on, okay? So you need to understand the advantages of NLP and the applications of NLP too. That is where and all it is used. So you can choose one of the easy way, that is choose four of these options: question answering section, when you ask to Google Assistant, spam detection, like whether Truecaller and all uses that, whether it is actually a real phone number or not. That and all can be checked using spam detection, sentiment analysis, whether they are speaking truth or not. Machine translation, that is what is happening in one machine can be identified using another machine. Spelling correction, speech recognition, chatbot, etc. So all these cannot be by hearted very fast. So which is more easy for you to remember, that four you choose. Four should be there in your mind. Okay. Now comes your next option, that is augmented reality. Some of you might have heard the word, for some of you it is very new. Now, what is this augmented reality? That is, in front of you, a 3D experience is shown where, without going to a particular place, you are able to watch what is exactly happening in the place, just like as if you're seeing in front of your eyes. It's not a two-dimensional view, it is a three-dimensional view. Again, it is done through, of course, your artificial intelligence. An immersive experience pulls a person into a new or augmented reality, enhancing everyday life via technology. Three pillars, three pillars means three features of this particular augmented realities are visual quality, sound quality, and intuitive interactions. Remember that when we do that, you need this, when we actually work on this particular augmented reality, we need something called as a camera and sensors. What are the different options we required, or what are the different kinds of tools we require? We need cameras and sensors collecting data about the user's interaction. Then processing, we need processing. So we need a particular processor for that, and in that AR devices, it is augmented reality devices, eventually should act like little computers to be able to measure speed, angle, direction. Then the projector should be there to show us that. Then the reflection should be there. Actually have mirrors to assist the human eyes to view this. So all these things should be the part of an augmented reality software. There are many augmented reality. Mainly it is softwares I use. Mainly it is used for gaming purpose nowadays, but there are other areas also. Now, as most popular applications of AR, that is augmented reality, is nothing but gaming. Augmented reality, don't confuse. I'm just going to show you certain things over here because I've already taken and kept some of the examples of augmented reality. One is of course okay, games, Pokemon Go. I would also like to show you this one. There is a browser, augmented reality browser, where it enhances users' camera to display with contextual information. That is, for example, when you point your smartphone at a building, you can see its history and estimated value, etc. And such a browser's examples are gone for AR browser, etc. So this kind of browsers are also available, and of course for gaming, the Pokemon Go game. I have not played this game, so some of you, if you have ever tried this, you can try it out and see. That is also an example of your augmented reality. Then comes augmented reality GPS. That is, your this particular options can be loaded in the system to spot the user's location and its compass to detect device orientation where it's standing. Of this particular feature is already used by Uber drivers, or even you, to find out where you have reached, or even the Zomato online shoppings, everything, to find out where exactly. Not online shopping, online food ordering systems, everywhere it has been used. So there are so many areas which is used, but to put it in a small set of sections, we can point it out like this one. Okay, so your applications of your AR is mainly for games. Other than that, we can also use it as a browser. In retail, it may act to bring better customer engagement and retention. Remember, when I'm talking about these things, it is just we are introducing to the names, the terms and terminologies of this. The terms and terminologies which you are actually watching over here, should be remembered, the use should be remembered, and the example should be remembered. So two examples of augmented reality. One is gaming. There you have your Pokemon Go. The next is what I showed you, that is our GPS options, and then the browsers. So you can say augmented reality is used for these purposes. Okay, now comes the next one, that is your virtual reality. Now some of you remember this virtual reality, what we call six dimensional views. Shows were available in some of the shopping malls in earlier cases. So actually we experience as if we are not in that particular place, but you actually has an experience. Instead of viewing a screen in front of that, you are actually immersed and you're able to interact with the 3D world. You can actually feel that kind of an effect as if you are there working there. So such a kind of shows were existing in some of the malls earlier, but I don't know whether now it's playing. So in virtual reality, when you compare with augmented reality is going to see that or going to show that in front of you, whereas this one in virtual reality, instead of going to show you what is happening in a particular place, it is going to involve you there as if you are working, or as if you are being actually been in that place and experience. For example, imagine that you are watching a video regarding um, the Niagara waterfalls. In augmented reality, you just watch the beauty of it, but you know you're not there. Whereas in virtual reality, you will literally feel you are experiencing the flow of the water, and even the water can spill over your face. So that means you actually have a kind of a virtual experience that you're still in front of, or you are in what Niagara waterfalls. Understood? So such kind of experience can be shared with your VR. So in VR, that is your virtual reality, every headset is used to perfect their approach of creating an immersive 3D environment. Each VR headset puts up a screen in front of your eyes, thus eliminating any interaction with the real world. Two autofocus lenses are generally placed between the screen and the eyes that adjust based on the eye movement and positioning. Understood? So when you just read through it. There is no need to worry. Like, but this won't be asking the question like how does it work. But of course, it will be asking about the applications level, where and all it is used. So there you should have some example. Then the visuals on the screen are rendered either by using a mobile phone or an HDMI cable connected to a PC. Frame rate of minimum frame 60 frame per second. FPS stands for frame per second. Okay, an equality computer refresh rate and minimum of 100-degree field of view is required for a true VR. So, in artificial intelligence offers you two special kind of services, that is augmented reality and virtual reality, and see the applications. You can compare the augmented reality application. Remember, it is used in browsers. Which one? Augmented reality. It is also used for gaming. Here it is used for different purposes: automotive industry, healthcare, retail, tourism, real estate, architecture, gambling, and learning and development. All these are actually areas of applications of virtual reality. So compare both and study properly when you have your augmented reality and your AR. Understood? Yes. Here only one example was shown in this one. I have got more in my hand. I already showed you. One of the application of AR is gaming. Another one is involvement of AR in browsers, then involvement of AR in GPS, etc. Here you have more application to study. That is all these areas. They are using actually virtual reality to show the experience, especially in healthcare and all, whether what is exactly happening in your hand can be actually shown using a small video film where you literally feel the pain of the different bones of your hand. And another virtual reality where it is used was the film Titanic, when the people go and search for that treasures in the ship which was underneath the sea. They use a special kind of a device to take the different things which is lying underneath the sea. That machine is also a part of a virtual realities service. Now comes big data. Now this is nothing but the name given to huge size of data stored in any of the databases. Now, big data's data processing is involved in businesses, improves customer services, easy early identification of the risk of the product services, and better operational efficiency. So, if somebody asks you what is a big data, you can say it's a data which is so large and complex that none of the normal traditional database management system can be able to store it. So, instead of that, we have to store it in the virtual space. That is big data. Characteristics of big data is volume. Of course, big data will be having huge amount of volume. Then variety, different varieties of data will be stored, both structured and unstructured. Nowadays, data, in the form of emails, photos, videos, monitoring devices, PDF, audio, are all stored in the mobiles. That is one way of storing the big data. Velocity, then there is means of speed of generation of data, how fast it is being processed, and how fast you can actually transfer from one device to another. Then variability refers to the inconsistency. That is, if the data is changed in one place, it should be reflected in another place. Remember DBMS? There also we had. So you have to just clearly understand 2 points here, because only 2 mark question will come. So characteristics of big data is volume, variety, and velocity. You can remove the last one if you want. Then comes Internet of Things. Internet of Things, in short, we call as IoT, is a concept initially proposed by a member of radio. Now, actually, it has become practical, more relevant to the practical world, because sitting somewhere else, you are able to control the things in your own house. That actually is available, and that community where we control everything using the smart devices, we call this Internet of Things. Understood? So internet interconnection of things, objects, all these are devices are actually called as in together called as Internet of Things. Can actually include a sensor. It is the main thing device which is already there in the Internet of Things is nothing but a sensor or an electronic device or a software which are connected to the internet and can be utilized remotely and can exchange data. Understood? So here, if when we talk about that, if I wanted to control my house, different areas. For example, my wardrobe has to be checked whether it has been opened or not. I can actually attach a sensor over there, and if even if I'm not at home, I can always check with the device with which the sensor is connected. If the device is in my hand, whether any kind of changes or any kind of movement is happening with the wardrobe. So that can be done with the help of Internet of Things. We will see one by one by one. All right. So major characteristics. Of course, you can store a very large scale of things. Heterogeneous. Same thing. Understood. No heterogeneous form of data. Same thing means what we just learned from big data. And pervasivity. It is computing and communication technologies embedded in our environments. We all have smart things now. So how does this work? How does your Internet of Things work? It's an aggregation of Internet enabled sensor. I already told the main thing which we require an Internet of Things is a sensor. Applications of that is one is a smart house. Suppose we are not at home. I just already told you. And doubt starts in our mind. Did I turn off the coffee maker? Did I set the security alarm? With a smart home, we can quite often we can control all these worries with a quite quick glance of that particular device. We can connect the device and appliances in our home so that it can communicate with each other with us. So that if even if you're not able to or you forgot to off something, the device will be able to control it and automatic off will happen. But for that, every device has to be connected to the anything, any of the smart devices. For example, smart car, the driverless car where taxis work based on AI, take the passengers safely and accurately to the desired destination. The only thing is that if a problem comes in that program, the entire thing collapses. Okay, so that is called a smart applications IoT. We are continuing with that. Elderly care, patient surveillance can be done, life saving, so automatically detecting when someone falls down, whether anything really happened, is whether it's a silent attack or not. All this can be done if a sensor is attached to the patient. Remember, it should be attached to the patient. Disaster warning sensors can collect critical information about the environment, allowing for early detection of environmental disasters like earthquakes, tsunamis, etc., thus saving lives. So, even that can be done, and for that, we need, of course, a large amount of data as well as finance to actually buy these kind of sensors for recollecting or taking charge of all these areas where there can be a disaster. Delivery drones being used for deliver item with the help of smart grid or geospatial data. You remember drones were used to find out whether people are moving around or not during the early time of lockdown. That is it. A smart city. That's again only a dream. Now it has not come into action. It's a framework. We might have seen in some movies. We have a smart cities and it where everything is controlled by the devices. The framework predominantly composed of information and communication technology to develop, deploy, and promote sustainable development practices to address growing urbanization challenges. So you can say a smart city is the kind of a city which is controlled by the sensors and works perfectly with the help of these sensors. So with this, we are going to actually stop your discussion on this video. Now, what we left out is a term called as cloud computing. So in this particular video, we learned AR, VR, IoT. Okay. So thank you very much for watching. We'll put a stop to this too.